Hi, welcome to Delicious and Light. I'm Dina D'Ambrosi, and today we're going to be making several quick breads. We're going to be starting off with a banana quick bread. We'll be doing an apple quick bread and a pumpkin quick bread. We're going to a winery tomorrow, so I thought this would be kind of fun stuff to bring to the winery that we're going to tomorrow. So banana bread, this serves 8. It's going to be put in a 1 loaf pan, and since I'm going to a winery, I'm going to be using disposable pans, so it's nice and easy. We don't have to bring anything home or worry about anything getting broken. So basically for banana bread, as with most breads, we're going to have dry ingredients that include flour. This one has brown sugar, so we're going to do 1.5 cups of flour, 3/4 cup brown sugar, a little dash of salt, tiny bit of cloves, cinnamon, which I love, so I might put a little bit more than the recipe calls for, baking powder, and baking soda. So we just do 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, full teaspoon baking soda, and like I said, about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then from there, we're going to separate our wet ingredients, and in that we're going to do 1/2 cup of egg substitute that cuts down on the fat. We're going to do a tablespoon of melted butter spread that also helps to cut down on the fat. We're going to do 1/3 cup of unsweetened applesauce and 3 bananas. So I'm actually going to start with the bananas, and all you want to do is you want to mash them up so that you don't actually have whole banana pieces in your recipe that people bite into. So we'll just put the dry ingredient bowl right there for right now. And just peel your banana, and super simple. All you do is put your banana in a bowl, take a fork, or if you have a pastry cutter, you can use that too. If you're not sure what a pastry cutter is, I can show you. It's in front of me the whole time. So you could use a pastry cutter, or you could use an apple, and a fork, and all you have to do is just smash this up. And the riper your banana is, the sweeter your sweet bread is going to be. So if you have some bananas that look like they're on their way out and you don't know what to do, make banana bread. It's the best thing, and most of these ingredients people have in their homes. If not, these are really common ingredients that you could get in any grocery stores. There's nothing exotic or unusual about these ingredients, so you could run out and just get what you need. So I'm just going to put my second banana in here, and we'll put the third in there. I'm going to mash them all up, and I'm going to put them in the mixer with the wet ingredients. Also, what you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees and have that ready. That helps a lot with baking. It makes the baking timing correct, and it cooks it bakes the bread properly. Otherwise, what you might find is that it takes a little longer, or you may have certain areas that are cooked and other areas that aren't. So preheating your oven for baking is pretty important. So I'm just going to continue to mash this up for another minute. And while I'm mashing, I just want to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook, to subscribe to the blog so that you can get new recipes all the time, and also subscribe to these videos so that when a new video is posted, you can go up and see what's cooking today. So this is pretty well mashed, and just to give you an idea of what I mean. So you want it so that you don't have any big chunks. And then you just put this, let me get a spatula. Just put this in the bowl of the wet ingredients. And like I said, 1/2 cup of egg substitute, a tablespoon of melted butter, and then we'll get our dry ingredients ready. Alright, so for the dry ingredients, I like to sift everything together so it's fully incorporated. If you don't sift, it's okay. However, I will say then what you might want to do is just run a whisk around it just to make sure everything is well incorporated. So we're just going to put 1½ cups of flour in here. And as with any baking, you do want to measure kind of carefully. You don't have to measure your cinnamon or your spices. You could add a little bit more cinnamon or a little less cloves, whatever you like. But when it comes to dry versus wet ingredients, it does matter to properly measure your flour and other dry ingredients. Otherwise, it may not bake up the way you need it to. I'm sorry. Let me apologize. With the wet ingredients, I forgot to add the 1/3 cup applesauce. So you want to put the applesauce in there. And like I said, I use unsweetened because we're going to sweeten this with brown sugar. So we've got the flour in there. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder we want to put in.
Why the applesauce?
The applesauce cuts down on the fat, so that makes it less fat, less calories. Normally, what you would end up doing is putting anywhere between 1/3 to 1/2 cup of oil, and that really makes the sweetbreads higher calories, higher fat content. So unsweetened applesauce is a great way to keep it moist without all those calories and fat. And I do put a little fat in there with the butter spread, the low calorie, low fat butter spread, because you do need a teeny bit of fat in there. I have experimented with 100% applesauce, and the breads don't come out, the consistency of them isn't the same. So this keeps it relatively the same. So I just put a teaspoon of baking soda in there, and we're just going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you could be a little shy on that teaspoon of salt, because you certainly don't want a sweetbread to be salty. I'm going to put in a full teaspoon of cinnamon. Our family really likes cinnamon, so it wouldn't be unlike me to add a little bit extra in there. We like that. The other really nice ingredient that our family loves are cloves, ground cloves. I don't know if you've ever cooked with this before. A lot of people don't. Because it's a very strong flavor. So what we're going to do is just use 1/4 teaspoon. A little bit goes a long way. And if you're unsure about it, just smell it. It tastes just like it smells. Absolutely delicious. I love it, and I think it adds a lot. And then the last thing is we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So I like to keep my brown sugar not only tied up with a little butterfly clip, but I also like to put it in a Tupperware so that it stays soft. A little trick, don't know if you're aware or not, if your brown sugar turns into a brown brick, just put it in the microwave for a minute or so, and it actually softens it up. So there's a little something so you don't have to throw out the brown sugar and have to go out and buy a new one, but I just rather it not get hard to begin with. So we have 3/4 cup brown sugar. So I'm just going to sift this through. The brown sugar might have a little bit of the difficulty getting all the way through there, but it'll happen. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Alright, so I pretty much have all the ingredients sifted through. There might be a little bit of brown sugar on the bottom. Don't sweat it. Just dump it. And you're all set. So in here, I'm going to get the paddle mixer. If you're not sure what the paddle attachment is, it's this. If you have a hand mixer and you don't have this paddle attachment, that's okay. You can still mix it up just fine with the regular mixer. You just start this. Make sure it's nicely mixed in. And then what you want to do, this is a very important step. Put your mixer on the lowest speed possible. So it's going to be on stir. If you have this kind of mixer, if you have a hand mixer, just put it on real low. And very slowly add the dry ingredients. So this way, you don't get a cloud of dust in your kitchen, and then you've got a big cleanup on your hands. So you just want to slowly add this in and let the mixer do its job. this for a minute or less and then scrape down the sides. You really don't need to overmix this at all. You just want it to be so that you don't have little areas of flour in it. This is just so it bakes evenly. So, just scrape down the sides and I'll show you what that looks like. Now, a lot of people like to put nuts in their banana bread. I'm not a big fan, and actually one of the people we're going to the winery is allergic to tree nuts, so I'm going to completely pass on the nuts, and it's going to be absolutely just as delicious, and it reduces the calories and fat. So there you go, it's nice and mixed in there. From there, this is what I love about quick breads, is they truly are quick. All you do is just make sure you grease your pan up with some cooking spray. These are tiny little disposable pans, so I might end up using 2 of these. Let's see how this works. No, we'll make it. We'll make it just fine. It is going to rise a bit, but this pan should be able to handle with the amount it's supposed to rise. All right, that is it. So I'm going to clean up a little bit, move on to apple bread, but before I do this, this is going to bake for about 40 minutes, and you've probably seen this before. I'm going to set the timer for 40 minutes, and then I'm going to check it with a toothpick. If the toothpick comes out clean, which I'll show you, that means it's done. If not, then we put it back in, and I usually put it into 5 to 10 minute intervals from there. So I'm going to pop this in the oven. I'll see you all in about 40 minutes, and I'm also going to start the apple bread. Thank you again. All right, so the banana bread buzzer just went off. It's been in for about 40 minutes, so I'm just going to take this out and see if it's done. I can tell you it's not already without sticking the toothpick in. See how it's a little jiggly? So since it's still jiggly, I'm going to put it in for 10 minutes more and then check it from there. In the meantime, check out Apex Nova. We are a 2-week character education and event-based fundraising program, and Apex Nova is what was the inspiration to doing Delicious and Light again, because we emphasize on healthy mind, healthy body, and this is part of that healthy body. All right, so it's been about 10 more minutes, and we're going to check this banana bread. It's no longer jiggly, and it is browned on top. Let's just bring it over and grab a toothpick and see how that is. Clean. Perfect. So, all right, so this is it, the banana bread recipe. It's all baked up. It smells absolutely delicious, and I can't wait to serve it at the winery tomorrow. So until next time, I hope you try this recipe and enjoy. Thanks a lot. Bye.